Welcome back. Reading the Sealed Nectar. It's been a great book so far. We are on page 265, and this section is titled Al-Isra and Al-Miraj, the miraculous night journey from Mecca to the farthest masjid in Jerusalem, in the ascent through the spheres of heavens. Alright, kind of long title, but we'll dig in. The last days of the Meccan phase of the Prophet's life are noted for alternative fortunes ranging between two extremes, gradual success and continual persecution. However, glimpses of favorable lights were appearing on the distant horizon to ultimately materialize in the event of the Prophet's night journey to Jerusalem and then ascension through the spheres of the heavens. As for its exact date, there is a difference of opinion about it. The following views are about when it occurred. 1. The night journey occurred during the year in which Allah honored Prophet Muhammad, peace be with him, with prophethood. This view was chosen by At-Tabari. 2. It occurred 5 years after the beginning of his prophethood. This is the view preferred by An-Nawawi and Al-Qurtubi. 3. It was the night of the 27th of Rajab, during the 10th year of prophethood. This view was chosen by Allama al-Mansurbi. There's other numbers. 4. It was 16 months prior to the migration of Medina during Ramadan of the 12th year of prophethood. 5. It was 1 year and 2 months prior to the migration to Medina, meaning in Al-Muharram during the 13th year of prophethood. 6. It was 1 year prior to the migration during Rabi-ul-Awwal in the 13th year of prophethood. The first three views are based on the death of Khadijah, peace be with her, which was in Ramadan during the 10th year of prophethood. She died before the 5 daily prayers were made obligatory, and there is no difference of opinion over the fact that the 5 prayers were made obligatory during the night journey. Okay. So the significance of the night journey is that that's when it helps solidify the prayer sequence. Okay. As for the remaining 3 views, there is no sign indicating a preference for one over the other, except that the context of Surah Al-Isra supports that the night journey was very late on the timeline. The Imams of Hadith narrate a number of details about this event, the following of which is a summary. Ibn al-Qayyim said, Allah's Messenger, peace be with him, was carried physically according to the correct view from the sacred masjid in Mecca to Bayt al-Maqdis in Jerusalem, riding on al-Barak in the company of Jibril. There he alighted, tied the horse to a ring in the gate of the masjid, and led the prophets in prayer. Then during that night he ascended from Bayt al-Maqdis to the lowest heaven. Jibril, peace be with him, sought permission to enter. Oh, even the angel has to ask permission. It was opened, and he saw Adam, the forefather of mankind. The Prophet, peace be with him, greeted him. Adam, peace be with him, welcomed him, returned his greeting, and expressed his faith in Muhammad's prophethood. He saw the souls of martyrs on his right and those of the wretched on his left. Oh. Wait, he's in the... Okay. Wait. The lowest heaven is... But there's the wretched on the left in the lowest heaven? Jibril then ascended with the Prophet to the second heaven, sought entry, and there he saw and greeted John, son of Zachariah, Yah bin Zachariah, and Jesus, son of Mary. They returned his greeting, welcomed him, and expressed their faith in his prophethood. Well, that's a kind of nice welcoming, isn't it? You see John, you got Jibril, you got Jesus. Then they reached the third heaven, where they saw Yusuf, and greeted him. The latter welcomed the Prophet, returned his greeting, and expressed faith in his prophethood. The Prophet, peace be with him, in the company of Jibril, then reached the fourth heaven, where he met the Prophet Idris. and greeted him. Idris returned to the greeting and expressed faith in his prophethood. Then he was carried to the fifth heaven, where he met the prophet Aaron, Harun, and greeted him. The latter returned the greeting and expressed faith in his prophethood. So there's a lot of expressions of like endorsements, of encouragement. In the sixth heaven he met Musa, and greeted him. The latter returned the greeting and expressed faith in his prophethood. Muhammad, on leaving, saw that Moses began to weep. He asked about the reason. Moses answered that he was weeping because he witnessed a man sent after him as a messenger, Muhammad, who was able to lead more of his people to paradise than he himself did. Whoa. Whoa, that's unique. It's like a healthy competition of salvation. Then Prophet Muhammad, peace be with him, reached the seventh heaven and met Ibrahim and greeted him. The latter returned the salutation and expressed faith in his prophethood. Then he was carried to Sidratul Muntaha, the remote Lot tree, and was shown Al-Bayt al-Murr, the much frequented house, encompassed daily by 70,000 angels, so that the angels who once encompassed it would not have their turn again till the resurrection. Oh, so even in that dimension, there's a house that angels go around. And the rotation is so long and large, because there's so many of them, 70,000, that it'll take so long, and that it'll take until the time of resurrection. Wow. He was then presented before Allah. He was brought near such that he was at the distance of 2 bows' length or less. Allah revealed to his servant as he willed, ordained 50 daily prayers for him. On his return he spoke to Moses, informing him that his followers had been enjoined to pray 50 times a day. Moses, addressing the prophet, said, "Your followers cannot perform so many prayers. Go back to your Lord and ask for a decrease in number." Oh, negotiation. Moses is like a good negotiator. He's still doing it. The prophet returned to Jibril. He nodded, "Yes, if you desire." Oh, whoops, I got lost. Addressing the prophet, said, "Your followers cannot perform so many prayers. Go back to your Lord and ask for a decreased number." The prophet, peace be upon him, turned to Jibril. He nodded, "Yes, if you desire," and ascended with him till Allah, the Almighty, glorious is He, reduced the prayers by 10. He then descended and reported that to Moses, who again urged him to request a further reduction. Muhammad once more begged his Lord to reduce the number still. He went again and again at the suggestion of Moses for a reduction in the number of prayers till these were reduced to only 5. Moses again asked him to implore for more reduction, but he said, "I feel ashamed now of repeatedly asking my Lord for reduction. I accept and resign to his will." When Muhammad went further, a caller was heard saying, "I have imposed my ordinance and lightened the burden of my servants." Ibn al-Qayyim and Ibn Taymiyyah mentioned that there is some difference over whether the Prophet saw Allah or not, the result of the research into this matter being that seeing him with the eye is not confirmed as a saying of any of the companions, and that what is reported from Ibn Abbas is seeing in general, which does not negate the first view. Then he said, as for his saying in Surah An-Najm, chapter The Star, then he approached and came closer. It is not the approach of the story of the night journey and ascension, for the approach mentioned in Surah An-Najm relates to Jibril and his coming closer to him, as stated by Aisha and Ibn Masud, and the rest of it supports that. As for the approach and coming closer in the hadith of ascension, that clarity is about the Lord, blessed and most high. And his coming closer to him, this is not contradicted by Surah An-Najm. Rather, it merely mentions that he saw him another time at Sidratul Muntaha, and the him in question is Jibril, since Muhammad saw him in his real appearance twice. Okay, saw him in his real appearance twice on earth and once in Sidratul Muntaha, and Allah knows best. In some of the narrations, it's reported that his chest was also split on this occasion. Among the things the Prophet witnessed during this event are the following: the splitting of a chest. He was presented with milk and wine. He chose the milk. It was said, "You have chosen the fitra, or you took the fitra. Had you selected the wine, your nation would have been misled." Oh. The Prophet, peace be upon him, saw two manifest rivers, the Nile and the Euphrates. Wow. And two hidden ones. It appears that the two manifest rivers, the Nile and the Euphrates, symbolically describe the area in whose fertile valleys Muhammad's message will settle. The two hidden rivers being those in paradise. He had the opportunity to seek Malik, the keeper of hell, with a cheerless, frowning face. He saw paradise and the fire. He saw those who unjustly consume the property of orphans. They have snouts similar to those of camels. Hey. Swallowing red-hot stones and then issuing out of their backs. There were also the people who take interest and usury with the bellies too big to be able to move around. Because, like, it's like a form of a gross, like, just gorging yourself. Like gluttony. It's like a different form of gluttony. They are trodden by the people of Pharaoh when these are admitted into hell. In the same abode he saw adulterers offered a tasty fatty meat and a rotten smelling one, but they chose the latter. Oh, that's a really unique analogy, is it not? The licentious women were also there, hanging from their breasts. Ooh! I saw this show once where somebody's laying on their stomach and they got these pierced rings all in their back, and then they attach these ropes on each ring, and then they remove the table and the person's hanging from the rings on their back, and it looks so painful. They're stretching and it's horrible. But some people do that for fun. But imagine on your sensitive... Oh man, that's brutal. The night journey raised a good deal of stir among the people, and the disbelieving audience plied Muhammad, peace be with him, with all sorts of questions. He told them that he saw the camels of Meccan merchants going to and fro. He also guided them to some of their animals that went astray. He informed them that he had drunk some of their water while they were fast asleep and left the container covered. The disbelievers, however, found it a suitable opportunity to laugh at the Muslims and their creed. They pestered the Prophet, peace be with him, with questions as to the description of the masjid at Jerusalem, where he had never gone before, and to the astonishment of many, the Prophet's replies furnished the most accurate information about the city. He supplied them with all the news about their caravans and the routes of their camels. However, all this increased in them nothing but flight from the truth, and they accepted nothing but disbelief. For the true Muslims, however, there was nothing unusual about the night journey. The Almighty Allah, who is powerful enough to have created the heavens and the earth by an act of His will, is surely powerful enough to take His messenger beyond the heavens and show him the signs of His directly, which are inaccessible to man otherwise. The disbelievers, on their part, went to see Abu Bakr on account of this event, and he readily said, "Yes, I do verify it." It was on this occasion that he earned the title of As-Sadiq, the verifier of truth. The most eloquent and most concise justification of this journey is expressed in Allah's words. In order that we might show him, Muhammad, of our ayat, proofs, evidence, signs. 17:1. The divine rules as regards the prophets are as follows. Stumbling in the hillocks of Mecca, this question in itself uncovered the secrets of another issue which referred to a phase of the Islamic call and the appearance of another role. It was about to take up different in its course and noble in its approaches. The forerunners of that new task took the shape of Quranic verses bearing a direct and unequivocal warning accompanied by a severe ultimatum directed to the polytheists and their agents. Okay, this is going to be a little bit of a longer quote. And when we decide to destroy a town, population, we first send a definite order to obey Allah and be righteous to those among them, or we first increase in number those of its population who are given the good things of its life. Then we transgress therein, and thus the word of torment is justified against it them. Then we destroy it with complete destruction. And how many generations past nations have we destroyed after Noah? And sufficient is your Lord as an all-knower and all-beholder of sin of his servants. 17, 16, 17. Wow. Seven spheres. Alright, family, we'll cut it off here. We're at the 15-minute mark.